Hey you guys, what's going on? So today we have a pretty fun fix. I'm pretty pumped about this. We have a circulator pump in our hotel here. Goes right here, hot water circ pump. What happens is the water comes out of these hot water heaters and it hits these pumps here, the hot water, and these pumps shoot the water throughout the building. So we have two of them here. I believe one does each side of the building, one does each wing. One of them failed on us today. So here is the old one. Pretty old. Looks like it was installed in 2014. So what's that? About 6 years ago. Looks like it was installed. But I came into work today and the engineer had this all taken apart and it was broken. So I guess what happened is, here's the impeller right here. And it looks like the impeller cracked. If you can kind of see that crack going down the middle of this impeller here. So this pump's no good. So what we did was, he was having trouble trying to find a pump. I guess he shopped around, he couldn't find one, and then he started looking online. But the problem with that is we wouldn't get it for a couple of days, and it's actually a Friday night here, so we needed our guests to have hot water tonight and through the whole weekend. So I called one of my favorite supply houses, FW Web, a couple towns over. I gave them a call, and sure enough, we got pretty lucky. They had one right on the shelf, same exact model number. This is a Taco120-13. As you can see right there on the tag, it says it 120-13. So this one comes with everything. It comes with the volute, the motor, everything we need, gaskets, even new hardware. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get this installed so we can restore hot water to half of our building, because right now half of the building does not have hot water. So I'm going to remove this old volute. Looks a little rusted. I might clean this up here and get the new pump installed. So stand by. So I have a couple of wrenches here. That's all we're really going to need to take this old volute off. But one thing you're going to want to note before you take this off is you're going to want to look on the back and see how this arrow is pointing down here. So that's the direction of the water flow. So the water is pointing down. So when we go to install our new one, we want to make sure that arrow on the back here is pointing down, just like how this one was installed. So I'm gonna take these bolts off and I'll be right back. All right, so I took off this volute. Now we're kind of just left with these two pipes here. What I did was I sanded down these flanges. They were a little bit corroded, so I sanded them down so the gaskets will sit nice and smooth. Volute's right down there, the old one. I'm just kind of holding up this pipe because there's really nothing supporting this, so I don't want a break anywhere in the line. So holding this pipe up, I'm gonna put the new volute on the whole assembly and we'll be right back. All right, so I have the new pump in. It's sitting right here. I haven't put the bolts in yet. I just kind of put it in place, so I'm gonna put the bolts on next. Got the two gaskets on the top and bottom. What I had to do, I had to put a couple bungee cords up there just to hold the pipe, because the pipe was sagging down. There's really no support coming from this thing after it comes out of the wall there. So a couple bungee cords just to this pipe while I put it in place. So I'm gonna put the bolts on loosely, then I can take those off. And I'm gonna tighten this down. And as we can see, and the flow is going the right way, the flow is going down. So yeah, so I'm gonna bolt this thing down and then take those bungee cords off. Then we can wire up the motor and fire it up. All right, so the new pump is in. I got it all bolted down. I turned the water lines on, checked it for leaks. Doesn't seem to be any leakage at all, so looks like we're good. And so next, we're going to wire the motor up in the back here. So I just have to take off this little cover right here. We'll put the wires in and fire it up. Okay, so I took off the back here, and then as you can see on the side, there's a little access hole that the wires you can feed through. So what I'm gonna do is I have my electrical connector thing right here. So I'm just gonna twist this into place And if we can get this on here on camera, might be a little tough with one hand. There we go. Anyways, this screws into place, and I checked the motor on this one. The flow is going the same way, so we're going to put the white wire on top and the black on the bottom here, and I'm going to get this on, button this all up, and we'll fire it up. So I'll be right back. So as you can see, I got my wires hooked up in there, and I'm just going to put the cover back on, and we're going to fire it up. Alright, so everything is hooked up, all the bolts are in, wires are connected, so turn the valves on, and let's fire this puppy up. Alright, so far so good. Okay, so I got this thing, it's been running for a few minutes here. I put the install date on there and also the breaker location. One thing is, this isn't a perfect repair, only because, and it's nothing to do with this install I did here was perfect. Unfortunately, on this flange above here, it is leaking from the threads on this flange. I have the new ones here that came with it, but tonight's just not a good night to be taking this flange off. And as you can see, the condition of this thing is not so great. So to take that off tonight and try and battle a flange on top of installing this, it's Friday night, not a good night. I'm thinking sometime next week, when I have some help here, we can take off this flange and fix this slow drip. But at least for the weekend, we are up and running. We have the new pump here, so everything's good. Like I said, and that's just really unfortunate. But hey, I'm just showing that not everything's always a perfect fix right away. Some things take time, and sometimes you have to revisit things. And this is unfortunately the case because it is Friday night and we just can't afford to have this hot water down for any more time here. So I'm gonna have to get my partner, and we'll get one of these new flanges on. Maybe I'll make another video on that. Again, it's just so corroded up there. To take that off tonight, I might not even be successful. That's gonna take at least a few hours just for that flange there. So but in the meantime, we're back up and running, and we have the new pump, so I'm not too worried about it right now. We just have a bucket it's going down into, but there is all the old parts in here, and as you can see. And one thing too, I noticed it was dripping before, even with the old pump, because those bolts were rusted to shit on that part of the flange. And as you can see, even that up there, see how that's all rusted super right there. So and due to the amount of corrosion, I just put some plumber's putty on to try and cover it up a little bit, but there's a lot of corrosion around there, so it's been dripping for a while. So I'm not too concerned about that at the moment. But again, just showing. Gonna leave these right here, and I will talk with my partner about helping me get this flange on, because that will be a battle. But for now, I think we're okay. We're in good condition. So awesome. Like the video, subscribe, thumbs up, and see you later.